from Kansas originally, and I moved here about a couple months ago. So I grew up going to church and loving God. My parents baptized me when I was a baby and really raised me to the vows that they took when I was baptized. And so I grew up knowing about God and really loving Him and loving Jesus even as my Savior. And I would say that because of that also the way that they raised me, really I had this deep need to please them and want to be this good girl, and I was really terrified of doing anything that would disappoint them and do anything wrong, and at the same time I really wanted to please my friends too and just be good enough for everyone. So there's this constant battle between doing what was cool but also not wanting to disappoint my parents. And besides that, I was also this constant dreamer where I wanted to plan out my future and was constantly thinking about what my future was going to look like. And so that obviously went into college. I knew exactly what I wanted from college and what I wanted after as well. And thankfully, by God's grace, He got me involved in a campus ministry, and I ended up going to their summer project. And it was at that summer project that Memphis's own Soup Campbell spoke at. We had kind of like a small discipleship conference, and it was just a really impactful weekend, I remember. And really the one thing that stuck with me was that he talked about how we write up this contract for God and we'll say, you know, I want this major, I want this job, I want this kind of house, kids, husband, like all of that, dogs, you know, and we ask God to sign it and we'll say, we're good if you do that for me, God. And Soup just laid it in and was like, God's gonna tear that contract up, and he was like, he's gonna give you a blank one and ask you to sign it and ask, you know, you to trust him. And I just remember that night being super impacted and really feeling the full weight of my sin, because I knew that's what I had been doing with my life constantly, always asking God for things, and that's it, wanting complete control over my situation. And just that question too of God asking us to trust him, to me just begged for a relationship, and I didn't know what that looked like. And I just remember crying out to him that night, like, how on earth could you forgive me for all of this sin that I'm like thinking of and that's coming to mind, and how could you want a relationship with me as well? And at the same time, I remember just being super grateful and just realizing his goodness, because my whole life I've been trying to be that good girl, and God was just showing me that he was ultimately good, capital G good. And even since then, I feel like he's constantly showed me too as well that his plans are better than mine, which has been really sweet and gracious of him, because all the time what I think is best is always second or third best to what he has planned for me. And that's been an incredible thing to really walk through with him, and him just showing me his kindness and his goodness in that, because it hasn't been like anything crazy for me because of that. And so that's how I ultimately ended up in Memphis, and wanting to decide that I wanted to celebrate what God has done in my life, and celebrate that he has been so good to me, and celebrate just that he's given me new life and redeemed me because of that. And so yeah, I'm excited to get baptized.